Dayo, good to have you back. Thank you so much for being willing to do another chapter. So we're on chapter 6, making it out the hood versus evil leads to destruction. That's the key myth that we want to discuss. And obviously you did a fantastic job in just breaking things down in chapter 3 about your life, your background, where you've come from and where you are now. But I want to almost go back and look at what was your mindset like when you were thinking, actually, I want to make it out of the hood. Kind of stepping away from the low-level beefs and scraps and whatnot, but looking at actually how can I make the most of the system that's before me, the streets, and get out. What was that like?
Yeah, to think of it, how did it start? So, to be fair, again, obviously, you know, being involved in, like I said, I wasn't the biggest gangster, but having the you know, beef with certain people and such, it was more kind of the hip-hop influence is where I realised it, to be honest, because I don't think I ever knew I was actually in the hood, you know, like, we were just on the council estate. I didn't know anyone that was living better. So it was okay. But it was like, you know, listening to rap and listening to 50 and such. And then, you know, drugs was a big thing at that time when people were like selling weed and, you know, so it was always that thing where, let's try and emulate this to try and get money for myself. So for me, it was more of the fraud. Introduced to it by an uncle actually that my parents actually knew.
Wow.
Yeah. So actually did make quite a bit of money from that. You know, they were probably taking more from me than they should have been. But it was from there that one of my closest friends started doing a lot of fraud, and we was making some money off of it. And then we actually attempted to do the drugs as well. And this is where the money had really taken over. Yeah. So this is, again, it was another uncle that actually introduced us to this, where we were trying to build a line and such. And, you know, the idea was to make as much money as we can. And then, you know, get this house in the hills. Yeah.
And that's it. It's funny how you obviously link it back to the money, because that's obviously chapters, that's the myth that I cover in the book in chapters 1 and 2. But it's, again, closely aligned. In fact, the money is the means to get out of the hood. Yeah. As people see it. And so I guess even just with that, like, when did you recognize that this is a dead end? Because I guess the truth is that, look, this is evil and it's going to lead to destruction. So when did that actually, I guess, hit home? Because I'm sure you've had opportunity. There's been times where, again, I know people who maybe been selling drugs, got robbed, and you might think, actually, that's the lesson that, you know what, let me just pack my bags and say, look, this is the end. But when did it kind of hit home that, look, this is going to lead to destruction. I need to stop with this and seek freedom a different way.
So not that it was going to lead to destruction. It was more, it was long that first came. So on the fraud side of it, you know, there was times where you'd make a couple grand, but then it would be months and months and months and months before anything else came in. Sure. So, you know, you stop listening to the lies that people were telling you about, oh yeah, look, you're going to make this, you're going to make that, because obviously we'd been through it and, you know, we weren't making anything. We actually had to go get jobs and such. Yeah. So that's where it probably stopped for me. But then when I got saved, that's where it completely come to a halt, because obviously even when you're still doing jobs, you're still doing, like, working a job, you're still doing, you know, side hustles on the side, or, you know, fraud on the side, or whatever you could do. But when I had gotten saved, that's when I realised that, this is just a nonsense. And this is either going to lead to you getting arrested. Sure. And obviously because people did get arrested. And actually I had been arrested, but not on fraud, but people did end up going to prison and such. Of course. But it was more just the moral compass when I got saved, in all honesty. I don't think it was either the fear of getting caught or whatever, because we did it anyway. It's just the, you know, like, this is wrong. Yeah. Like, this is, you're a thief.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just that hard truth. Yeah.
And then it really resonated. You know, I don't know if your mum ever say this to you, but she said to me that if you lie, you steal. If you steal, you kill.
Yeah, that domino effect. Yeah.
And it was like, this is
is
this
deep.
is
I
real.
can see it. Yeah.
So it was more when I got saved, that was the hard hit for me, where I just thought,
This is long.
Yeah, this is long. It's not leading anywhere. It's not going to get me anywhere.
Yeah. It's deep.
And I stopped believing the lie of the hip hop industry. You know, and funny enough, if we ever have time to do another podcast, I'll go, I know my facts and such, but, actually reading about a lot of this stuff, like a lot of these guys, they make money from us listening to them, not for them hustling. So,
no, it's deep. And I think that point about, I guess, not believing that lie is key, because I remember, obviously, a bit of my story. I got shipped to Nigeria, and when I came back, I had some money, but it was still there. My mum had found it. And I come back, no job, had qualifications, Christian at this point in time, but no qualifications, nothing. Oh, had qualifications, sorry, Christian, but no job. And that was the only money I had, as it were. And I believe my mum left me with a passage from Proverbs where it basically says in a nutshell that dishonest money dwindles away.
Yeah.
And I remember for about 3 days just wrestling with that passage and thinking, what do I do? Do I keep it? I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go and buy weed or anything like that. I need to buy garms and trainers and X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But in the end, to your point, I had to stop believing the lie. And I recognized, actually, I don't want anything to do with that money. And I had to start afresh, get a job, M&S, and we got on from there. But I think, it's so key. It's practical. And I think that's what I'm getting from yourself. And it's very similar in my life.
It is a lie. The money underneath the mattress. I did all of that, man.
Yeah, like, the shoebox.
Put shoebox.
Yeah.
Everything. It looked so cool, man. I was living in the movie, man. And obviously my little brother used to see, because he used to go underneath my mattress and steal my money.
Sure.
But it was more just it was a lie.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And obviously, you got to say it weren't glamorous anymore. It wasn't appealing anymore.
Yeah.
So, I could see where you came to that crossroad and show that Christ was actually in you, because it never used to bother you before. That's right. Obviously, if you're doing fraud, it's somebody else's money that's come from somewhere. So, it's just when I got saved, the moral compass was on, and I was just like,
I'm done.
That's not for me, man. The drug game as well, we tried to get involved in that. And when we tried to get involved in it, I actually saw a junkie taking drugs in front of their kids, like little baby. And I remember my friend saying to me, and this is real, saying to me, yo, let's go. But because I'd watched Paid in Full and all this stuff there, so on and so forth.
Yeah. You had a
I remember saying to him, bro, I don't care. It's about the money. Do you know how evil that is?
Yeah.
Do you know how evil that is?
Yeah.
That there was about 5 of them in the house, and there's babies, because it was like, you try to go to these people to build because we were new, so we were trying to get this, we got the drug from someone. It was a source, and obviously they were going to supply us. They wanted to see if we could build a line off it. So we went to this house where they took the drugs, and she was sniffing it in front of the child was literally meters, and she was sniffing it, and I had my boy having a heart saying, yo, hey, let's get out of here, man, this ain't cool. And me saying to him, oh, bro, man, I'm about my money, bro. But she wants to, how evil that is.
Yeah, but this is the thing, isn't it? And that's the reality. When you're driven by a myth, you continue down that path of falsehood. But when you recognize, as it were, coming to Christ, you recognize the truth. You recognize, actually, I think you said it before, your eyes are opened, and you recognize, this is evil. So I guess just, even as we close out, again, as I try to do it in each of these discussions, any lasting thoughts, words of wisdom that you would leave for just a young guy tuning in?
So, so in terms of making it out of the hood, the way I attribute that is that you want to do well in life. Okay, so because with the UK, the hoods are not as American hoods, but it means you want to make it out of. You want to do well in life. I have the idea that the way for you to do well in life is with Christ. To understand that that's what happened to me.
Love that.
I didn't have People would say I'm doing quite well, and it's only to the grace of God. All right, I'm not saying come to Christ to do well. Obviously, that's just a benefit of it, byproducts of it. Yeah, exactly. But ultimately, when I got saved, I wanted to do well in uni. I wasn't doing bad before. I wanted to do well. I brought all my grades up. You know what I'm saying? And then I just started working hard. I had this moral compass, you know what I'm saying, to eventually me being able to, secure jobs and so on and so forth, having a family, being able to provide and such. So I say, put Christ as your way out or your success.
Love that.
And forget the lie, man. You guys, thank God, like we didn't have it. They have access to social media. They see all the celebrities with their money and so on and so forth. It's advertisement so you can buy into it.
Yeah.
So they can make the money from you buying into it.
That's right.
It's a lie. Don't believe the lie. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
The lie.
So go ahead and do things yourself. You put your hand to work, innit? Go and work. Don't think of anything easy. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You're gonna have to work for it. Sweat for it and do what you need to do to make it out of the hood, quote unquote, but to make it out of the council house and go to a mortgage place. But that's what I'd say. Yeah,
it's good. Bro. As always, appreciate these discussions. Appreciate your honesty as well, man. So thank you. God bless, man.
Thank you so much.